What's up guys, we got a special one for you today. So we've been having a lot of requests for professional games to be covered on the channel, and we usually cover like low diamond / platinum, kind of low Onyx style stuff. But actually today we're going to cover Faze Clan versus Optic Gaming. So this was the last game in the grand final for London. This is King of the Hill on Recharge, and we've got some of the shoutcasts in the background, but we're going to hop straight in with Snakebite here and just gets taken out. So one of the things that I really want to focus on, especially at the start of games straight away, is like you can't let the start of a game just tilt you out completely. So like Snakebite's died, he's traded out for dead zone, his mind's still in the game, he's not fussed. You need to employ that in your gameplay too. So don't let the start of a game sort of like ruin your mindset for the rest of the game. I like how Lucid is kind of staying here. So if you look at like where Optic is right now, you can see that Formal is up on the catwalk, he's stuck. Dead zone is down, and I think Trippy's sort of to the left somewhere near where Lucid is. So they're trying to hold spawns for the hill, but not taking the hill because there's a lot of risk involved. So Lucy's just hanging out on back ledge. He's just keeping a lookout. He's watching that C plat. You see Royal 2's like rotating over. He's just trying to stop the other team from coming across. Trippy was actually down bottom mid. So Frosty having the camo here is really big for Faze, and if we just let this play out, you can see that he's looking for information here. He's not necessarily looking for a fight, but he's not revealing himself. And I'm staying alive here near the hill. Again, if you have camo, trigger discipline is super important. Like, he could take these shots on Trippy, he could take these shots on Formal, or he could chill out and then Optic have no idea where he is. So you can see the trigger discipline he had there for Formal to leave so he could get some damage onto Trippy. Team's now going to respawn probably like in A or something like that. And then as Optic is coming around, he's sort of like funneling backwards. So one of the things that you really want to look at in high diamond lobbies especially is you want to try to manipulate your positioning so if spawns come up, your teammates can cross towards you. And we'll probably see some Faze Clan crossfire coming over to Trippy here as he tries to get up onto this part. But we'll see how it plays out. Yep, gets the assist. Renegade shoots him across the map. Frosty's still got the camo here. He's being a complete pain in the ass. He's just trying to be unpredictable. Looping back round, trying to see what Optic are doing. They know he's here somewhere, but he completely gets the drop on them because he just didn't reveal himself until he needed to. And that's the key part of camo. Don't reveal yourself until you have to. And unfortunately, he gets absolutely blamed by Optic Formal back there, but almost getting him. So trading out's good there. Not much time on the hill. Quite a bit of time in the game passed already. And you can see this big focus for the teams to slay out first before they're desperate for the hill. And that's something that you tend to miss in lower ranks. There's just this desperation. So now that Optic have some form of setup, you see that Faze Clan have got 2 members down. Optic are starting to sort of fan out on this side of the map. Trippy's going to get power position because he's got the snipe. They're going to try to lock Faze out of the hill. And you can see that for the first time in this game, we'll pause. So you'll find that a lot of the time in these games, especially professional high elo games, is that teams will form, they will have their idea of where the no man's land is. And we've kind of talked about this on the channel before. So in this case, the no man's land is definitely the middle of the map. No one is there at all. But in the sense that as the teams rotate around the map, you can very much tell that this side is the Faze Clan side of the map and this side is the Optic Gaming side of the map. And the teams are going to stick to that and they're going to react and they're going to move around as that changes. Only going in the hill once they have a distinct advantage. Really good stuff here from Optic Gaming. Great control. And you can see the hill's safe right now because they're pinned. But now as Faze Clan come around, Trippy's going to move that line that we were talking about for who owns which side of the map. That's moved. He's retreated. Lucid's died. It's 3v3. So then they're now going to try and get some way to look at the hill without necessarily having to full commit. Trippy's trying to get some information, but Snakebite's in the back behind the battery. He's had comms to say that he was low, but the Renegade comes in with the cross map, which I think was either from Attic or from C plat. So it's important here that like Snakebite could have fought, but he was low. So he played rat, he hid behind the battery, and he got his team to help him out. And it's those types of assists and those types of gameplay that really set apart like the low thinking to the high thinking. Stays alive long enough with a little shoulder peek, a little jiggle peek. A few more fights going out here. The teams are sort of fighting for map control. Catwalk is a nice area. Renegade knows that they're coming around, and he timed that so well. This is quite a big mistake from Optic here, but you don't, when you're going to run through and the grenades are out, you don't want to hug each other. And Lucid and Matt there were going to try to challenge whoever was in bottom control. They probably had some sort of comms that Renegade was in there somewhere. But they went to pick up the plasmas and he just got them as they went around. And unfortunately, because they were hugging, he gets the double kill on them, which is really bad. So with 3 players down for that team now, we're going to see some sort of shift in control of the map. So now Renegade is chilling here. He's blocking the spawns in A. This means that Optic can only attack from the C side of the map, which is really good for them. Frosty's watching the long haul, so if they come that way, you can see them. Royal 2 is watching the long haul door, and he's watching sort of mid-C plat, so that's great. And then if anyone tries to sneak up down the bottom here, Renegade can also see it, and he can also see Triply Box as well. So this is a really, really good setup. Everyone can help everyone from anywhere. They are quite wide set apart, so it is vulnerable to multiple pushes at the same time. But it allows Faze Clan to have a lot of presence on the map, and ultimately, this is what allows you to kind of do what you want in a game. So they have a lot of map control right now. Optic are going to have to slow down. It's going to have wasted their time a bit. You can see they're trying to prep for something. Faze is scoring. They're happy with this. They've nearly got this hill.
Is going to really play spoiler to that. They're about to close this out. And he's just completely
There's a nice little rotation from Renegade there, but you can see that even the pros windmill a bit. Renegade, he was trying to get the shot onto Lucid, he couldn't quite get it, but 3 down again for Optic. So again, it's that idea of they were waiting for the push, they timed it. Lucid got caught out because Renegade rotated. That was probably because of some comms. It's that type of thing. So this really highlights how important comms is, and obviously when you're in matchmaking, you're not going to see this type of coordination, but at the same time, turn your mic on for God's sake, because it makes the game so much easier.
Without a doubt, moments away. The first point goes
Frosty with the camo again. This is the second time this game we've seen him do stuff like this. Look how the trigger discipline. He's not shooting. He could have taken the shot, but he hadn't. They don't know he's here. He does get spotted as Lucid. Unfortunately, comes around the corner and he gets traded out, but his teammates are there. Royal 2 is there, ready to try and do something with that. They're trying to fight for the spawns. Remember, the hill now is in blue pipes. Snakebite's trying to look so Optic can't get into the hill, but separate fight here. Matt takes him out. Royal 2's last person alive. Again, they're fighting for that sight line. So what you'll find a lot when the hill is down in blue is you'll usually get someone where Formal is here. So you get someone that's on the back ledge, and you'll get someone that kind of hangs around maybe down here. And having the control of sort of this area here and where Formal is really strong. Particularly Batteries if you've got the shock rifle, but you can only really do this if you know where the enemy team is. He's really open to Whirlpool. That's why he's not dropped down.
Taking this extra step is vital to breaking the face setup.
Very good damage here. They also force Renegade all the way down there. I'm not sure.
He knows that Frosty's in here somewhere, but Frosty absolutely decimates him. And you can see, as we said, there's a lot of fighting going out for this part of the map. So if there is a hill in blue pipes, you want to try and get yourself into attic or back ledge to try and stop sort of that mid push. Gives you a lot of map control directly looking at the hill. This hill is not super easy to defend. It can be quite difficult because you can be attacked from the front, but you can also be attacked from the back as well, and it allows you to push control. So holding here limits the ways you can get attacked. It's a lot easier.
As you said, though, Faze prioritizes gold here.
Good use of the Shroud there, though. The Shroud is very effective at sort of denying that cross map that we were talking about. That was a really ballsy play from Frosty there. I think he wasn't quite... There was a little bit of timing issue there. I think Renegade was weak. You can see him on tripping now. So really important to try to time pushes with teammates and look at their shields. Renegade's playing his life quite well. He's trying to get a trade, but fortunately Trippy gets behind him. So it is okay to try and trade your life out sometimes, but in this case, you know, the other team has the hill now. They have the spawns now. Probably going to see Faze Clan slow down a little bit here, wait for 4 players to come up. Frosty might see what he can do. The Royal 2 is just writing out again at Batteries, trying to stop them scoring, but he gets caught out. So again, good comms from Optic. Split spawns for them is bad. That means Optic now are going to get like 8 seconds for free. You always want to make sure you try not to die like 6 seconds after your teammates, because then lots of time where there's not going to be anything happening. Your team could be 3-man. Look where Dead Zone stood here. So instead of standing like right in the window, because you'll see a lot of players like stand here, he's actually stood further back. So because he stood further back, it means that you won't see him as quickly. And it also means that he can escape danger faster. This is super simple, but it's something that a lot of people just do not sort of think about. He also knows that holding the attic and the back ledge is a really key area. And he knows that Faze Clan's going to send someone there, so he's waiting for it. Renegade saw him. His shoulder's probably peeking out because he's closer to the wall than Renegade is. Then Snakebite got him because he was focused on trying to defend himself from across the map.
Manages to trade it out. Look at the score though.
So the thing here is that now as people start dropping, Lucy's tried to get himself out of Royal 2's sightline, and he also has a teammate that's down here somewhere because this camo's coming up. Any player who dies now will not be available to fight for camo when it respawns, potentially. So once power-ups get to like 15 seconds, you really need to make sure that you stay alive, because if you don't, or you don't trade, you have a significant power disadvantage on the map, which means you're not likely to get that power up.
Look at the progression on this next hill. Lucid's picking up kills.
Lucid knows that, and that's why he's backed off. He really does not want to die right now. Team's got 3 up. Faze only has 2 up. He's moving around to C-plat to get that key position, and takes Royal 2 as he comes through. So it's worth it throwing a plasma. And then Optic. I think... Oh, they didn't get the camo there. Quite see that. Let's go back. And we get to see the stick again. That was nice. Yeah, Trippy pops the camo, but he actually gets killed. So the camo did get popped, but it's gone. So you can see that we were saying the attic and the mid area. Lucid is the only person alive right now. So Faze Clan can literally just brute force through the middle, and he can't do anything. And look, they have to do this because look at the score. Sometimes being able to cross map and things isn't very effective when you're in this sort of position. Sometimes you have to just strong arm the enemy team. In this case, Faze know that. So they're just grouping up and they're just making it so Lucid. Even if he peeks out and throws a grenade, he's just going to get absolutely vaporized. Optic can't do anything.
On the front of the tunnel.
Lucid's trying to play his life, but this is a really common hiding spot. There's not really anything else he can do. It's very much a checkmate scenario for him. The best case scenario for him here was that he traded. Unfortunately, he doesn't manage it. So understanding the game state here as the trades keep cycling and coming in. The game state very much now is in the swing of Faze. You know, they've just traded out a player for Optic. For Trippy, just seeing it on your screen, they double meleeed each other. Dead Zone's not near the hill, he's bottom mid. Royal 2 has died up here, but because the Faze Clan have the hill, and because they also have Frosty or Renegade in there as well, they're probably going to spawn closer to it. So the match is very much in the favour of Faze right now, even though Optic have more of a score. It's understanding that when you play hill, you play for spawns, because if you don't take as much time to get back to the hill, that means it's easy to get in the hill. It's easy to defend that area, that type of thing.
Alive inside of it. Optic's so close, but so close is never good enough.
Surprised to see them.
They're just trying to get information right now while they're scoring. They're just trying to waste their time. Like, it doesn't matter if Renegade necessarily dies there. It was really good that he managed to kill Matt, but it's just the idea that just wasting their time is enough to get them to score. So that was really well played from him. Could have traded his life out, but he didn't. He just pived formal basically. So they're 2 hills up right now, and it's at this point that the playstyle in King of the Hill may start to change somewhat. As you start to rack up hill points, you don't need to stand in the hill as desperately, so your team can start converting its playstyle into more of a Slayer playstyle, where you want to hold the areas that give you advantage points over the hill, rather than areas that give you control over the hill, because you don't need to stand in it because you're winning, right? It's like CTF. If you're like 2 flags ahead, you can try to close out the game, but you can play a little more defensively because you have that buffer of 2 flags. And Optic have tried to set up for the next hill by moving towards the Whirlpool. So we're going to see them move back and try to get some spawns. But Royal 2's pushing into top gold, so they can't get them. So that means that Snakebite knows they're going to spawn up an elevator, which is why he's looking here. So again, a lot of high-level play in blocking spawns and pushing up. You could argue he was just pushing to get map control, but the advantage of that is he's also blocking the spawns as well, so the Faze Clan know where Optic is spawning, so that means they can figure out where they want to push. And especially in this scenario, Formal's dead. That means there's only 3 players. So if they're going to push, they have to go quickly, because Formal will spawn on them if they don't. Or worst case scenario, if they just stand here and they half push, Formal's going to spawn behind them, which is even worse.
That is heartbreaking.
So that's why you can see Renegade pushing. Lucid actually flanked around. That was well played by him. He kind of anticipated that. But you can see that the map position has traded around. And as Optic loop back round, they're trying to fight. And they know that Royal 2 is not going to be able to do anything because they've managed to take out the other members on his team. So Royal 2's now probably going to try and play defensive. I think he's actually out on the triangle. But he's probably going to try and go back this way to get away so he can get some spawns in attic.
Controlling the next hill though, inside a turbine.
We might see, yeah, you can see Formal there looping around. Lucid is now waiting for the spawns that were either long haul or C to come around. So again, there's a higher level of coordination. The team is not only looking at the objective, but at the same time, it's also trying to figure out where the enemy team is going to spawn, and it's preemptively putting damage in so that they can't push. And this hill's really important for Optic now because they're 2-1 down. They're 2-0 down, sorry.
Pipes, they have a great perimeter on the map here for this setup, but I think there'll be questions.
They're a little close together right now. They know that, and that's why they start spreading them. And they know someone's here.
That is tough in a grand final.
Trade is good for them. They've got hill control. Frost being weak. They need him to die so they can score. And that was worth pushing because otherwise he would have regened. It would have been a 2v3. Oh no, Lucy gets stuck. So now Faze Clan are holding this A area, so we're probably going to see them start spawning up. Snakebites move back because he's weak. You're going to try and set up for this camo. So again, remember, camo's coming up. Don't die. Everyone's going to slow down for a moment. Not great for Optic because Faze are scoring, but you don't want them to score and get camo, so you have to play for the camo.
Last player alive. As you can see, holding down pipes. Luce is going to have a gold spawn. So
you know that the spawn's up there. And just look at the... I mean, it pauses it when the crosshair placement. It's not great. But some of the players we'll see through the match, their crosshair placement is immaculate. So I think Snakebite here is just kind of waiting for something to happen, so he's in the middle. But if we get Formal or someone else later, we're going to talk about how Formal uses crosshair because he's very efficient with it.
We're leading in this hill once again, but that is becoming a tale as old as time. Perfect. The grapple distance coming in from Snakebite.
Nice use of the camo there. Almost gets dead zone.
And he hits that perfect grapple and flies right back up.
But he got called out and he's just ready. So that was a really good instance of crosshair placement there. So Snakebite is waiting. He's always got his rescue at head height, right? He will know on the wall where head height is roughly for an enemy Spartan. And he's looking over here, but also if anyone clambers up here, it will also be roughly head height, so he can micro adjust as well. Lucid will have called out that he saw the zap go towards dead zone. So now, whenever you do anything in an 8's lobby, you always have to be aware that any action you take, the enemy team will then say where you are. And if you have a sniper and camo, you are literally target number uno. Yeah, so the enemy team is going to come and find your ass. So Formal knows that. Lucy's watching over him. He's going to climb up. He's going to chow. But the crosshair placement, it was literally just to the left. So he was at head height and he could just move and walk. So he walked this way, moved his right stick that way, got the turn perfectly onto Formal. And unfortunately, Formal gets killed.
It's another killing spree for
and staying alive when you have this kind of power-up is really important. I know that's really obvious, but you have the game in your hands with this type of power. So you'll see players with camo, they're either going to play the mini UAV, you know, they're going to look and reveal enemy positions, they're going to get flanks, or they're going to be like Snakebite, where they're kind of just going to keep a core strategic position to prevent the enemy team from doing anything.
He's 12 and 10 in this game. You can guarantee he's got some objective time as well.
He's been very annoying. He's stopping this back flank into A.
What might be an MVP style performance.
Unbelievable place for him, not just in this grand final, but all weekend long. 2 still dead. They will continue scoring here. 1v1 in the back of elevator.
With the way that he's playing, the way that he's shooting, you always knew.
The shoutcasting is picking it up great as well. He's playing very much in a way where he only reveals himself when he absolutely has to. He's been very annoying for Optic.
Making it look way too easy.
Again, the positioning from the teams. Renegade is waiting for anyone to push. Frosty is also holding for anyone to push. Dead Zone has been forced. They can now fire him together. So when you're positioning your games, you really need to consider, if I fire, can my team fire onto this target as well? Another thing you need to think about is, if I take damage, am I in a position where the team can help me? If Renegade falls back, Snakebite can push forward. Frosty can see. Same with this. If Snakebite falls back, Renegade might be able to see who's shooting him. Frosty will definitely be able to see who's shooting him because he stood sort of at the bottom of gold stairs. So it's all about covering each other. Remember the tethers. You are tethered to your teammates. You need to think about, you know, how far away am I? What sort of assistance can I get? That type of stuff.
They get the first pick as well. Here comes more pressure coming in from Needles. He's not done.
Good crossfire. Got an assist. Renegade pushed through and said exactly what we said. Snakebite manages to kill him. That's the third hill. So what we're seeing a lot from Faze here is a lot of preemptive movement. And even though Optic have got really close with the hill, the preemptive movement and prediction of Faze, unfortunately for Optic, kind of beating them out right now. And that's probably causing a lot of frustration on Optic's side because they're not playing badly by any means. Don't get me wrong. You put these against any other team, especially like matchmaking teams like we see a lot of on the channel, just get decimated. But the prediction and the reading and the way that Faze are able to move and cover each other at the moment is far superior. Their objective efficiency is far superior because of the things that we've been saying.
It's feeling saucy right now. Snakebite is taking over, and Faze are 1 hill away from being your champions.
And we're very much going to see at this point, with the time that's left, that Faze are going to start transitioning more to that, again, that Slayer gameplay. And we can't quite see the timer. Snakebite there was just trying to stop Dead Zone. And that's fine if he's dead, because that means that Optic aren't scoring, right? Probably is a little bit sloppy from Faze right now, maybe a little bit too desperate. Trying to strong arm them out the hill. We're going to wait for Renegade to respawn before they make a move now.
You saw on that last hill, it almost felt like there was a bit of a white flag.
Trippy's trying to move out here again to cover the flanks on the hill, and they'll have a player in C looking towards him. So if Trippy takes fire, someone will be able to help him. You always want to make sure you're operating in these two-man cells, because you see it a lot in these games. The way that players coordinate pushes, the way that players hold angles, the way that fights are disengaged or engaged onto. It's usually 2v2. There are pivs every now and then that are 1v1s, but it's very much likely 2v2 most of the time, at least.
Being raised.
Big progress once again from Optic Gaming.
You can see they're moving in a pair there. Lucid's probably waiting for assistance for whoever's in the hill. That type of stuff. So these guys are in a 2. These guys are in a 2. Trippy's looking over here for anyone that has to back off because he knows that they're going to fight. And then someone in C will be looking at him.
This is the best they've looked on a hill.
Which they are. You saw at the bottom of the tower right there. So again, wherever you engage, Renegade is here. There's probably another player somewhere from Faze, or it may be that Frosty just died. Oh no, that was in long haul. Yeah, so we're running in these two-man cells. We're trying to time pushes together. We're making sure that if we get caught out, teammate can help us out.
So far, we'll see if they can continue holding. Here comes the push into 3v3.
When you have the hill, wasting time is good, but Faze actually took C there while that fight was going on because of the trade that we saw. So Snakebite is moving over to try and get the sniper. Remember, Faze now, they're focusing on playing Slayer because they're so far ahead. They want to focus on getting the power weapons, getting the camo. Don't really care about the hill that much. 3-0.
Too strong, and their holds thereafter are
Crosshair placement's good, waiting for head height, but Lucid knows that type of gameplay. Lucid knows that if someone's waiting with the sniper there, they're going to be aiming exactly where this crosshair is. So his awareness that he slides around the corner, and he curb slides off the triangle as well. I don't know if you saw that.
Are too strong, and their holds thereafter are too
He curb slides off the triangle, which makes his angle very hard to predict. Unfortunately, he slides straight into a frag, which means he gets taken out, or he takes a lot of damage anyway, but then he has to back off. But two-man cell again, look at Frosty to the rescue. Snakebite nearly dead. Frosty comes in. And then Lucid has to 2v1, but he's baiting as well, because Dead Zone, if you didn't see that, he's waiting as well. So it's all this 2v2 kind of moving around and angles and understanding the limits and that type of stuff. Fortunately, Dead Zone had to back off.
And turns him into yet another kill to add to his tally. He's 16 and 11.
3 down for Optic. So now with this, what Faze are going to do is now they've got the sniper. They're going to set up and they're going to force Optic to spawn at the other side of the map while not taking time in the hill. They're just going to waste that time. 1 minute 15 left. 3-0 up. Very much in their favour. Not impossible to come back at this point, I should add. Very much in their favour. So Faze Clan are just pushing up. And if we just go back there, we try to explain how that works with the map. Faze Clan are pushing up this way. They're collapsing into Optic. So the Optic's area of influence is smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay. So what we'll see is they will push this way. This means 2 things. First thing, Optic's map control just doesn't exist. Second thing, Optic literally have to run through Faze to get to the hill. Okay, and they're not going to be able to do that. You know, Faze have the snipe. They have camo. You can see Renegade with the camo right here. That's going to be very difficult to do. And what we're going to see as well is after this push from Faze, we'll probably see them sort of retreat back in order to block spawn straight after if they manage to get the kills. And they'll have planned that. They'll be thinking of that before they've done it. They're always a step ahead. Yeah, and you can see that Snakebite knew they were going to die because of the way the fight went. And Snakebite is now in the back of C. So he's stopping them from spawning in C. He may spawn in long haul, but he has the sniper, so he might be able to defend himself. Royal 2 will also probably move towards... Oh, he's actually at the other side of the map. So the fight's pretty spread here. So it's likely they're going to spawn long haul or something at this point. Dead Zone is chilling in the tower. So the closest spawns would probably be like in the long haul area. But they know Dead Zone's there. Just throwing an end.
And Snakebite knows exactly where he is.
Oh, the Halo timing there was so painful. He looked away and then Dead Zone rushed him. And he's probably going to look, scope in, and then he'll come around the corner. I hate that so much.
This might just be a victory lap
Ooh,
for them.
almost.
As we said, not stepping in the hill. They want that timer.
But staying here and being an annoyance and wasting the ammo so they can't get the snipe. Really good gameplay from Snakebite. He's been such a pain in the ass.
Team kill comes in as well, making life even
Assist.
easier.
So he's just ratting out right now. He's just been a massive pain in the ass. Even if he trades out here, like Formal's the last player alive. So understanding this type of scenario, you can trade out right now. There's 46 seconds left in the game. You have 3 players up. Optic has 1 player up. You want to play time? Trade him out. And that's exactly what he does. So that's another 10 seconds of the game where there's not a full team alive for Optic. Frosty's holding off the hill. You can see Frosty's in here. He's holding in to block the spawns. So Optic can't spawn in the hill. You could see that Royal 2 spawned up in the long haul, so that means that Optic can be pushing this way. Renegade's got really good crossfire onto these two areas here. The very worst case scenario for Renegade right now is that Optic push towards him, but unfortunately there's not much game time left either. So this is where we start seeing like win condition / checkmate scenarios, where because there's not enough time left, Optic have to make a decision, and both decisions are shit.
In stepping in that hill.
And he's just holding. He doesn't have to do anything. Optic have to push through control. They don't have a choice.
Lucid steps in. Renegade takes him out.
Formal wanted to try to get rid of Renegade to get across onto the C plat to kill Royal 2, but can't.
It's not going to be the triple because Royal 2 has it. And with 18 seconds left on the game clock,
and they're just waiting again now. Optic have no option. They have no option. They have to rush for the hill. So you just play Slayer. You're just going to walk behind them. Renegade's probably just going to go straight behind them right now. He's either going to shoot them as they go this way, or he may loop around this way if he feels he's got time.
Surely this is another Faze championship.
And what a way to end it here. 60 seconds.
And he's just wasting Formal's time. So it's understanding the game state, and he gives him the shake in his head BM. I mean, it was well played by them. But it was a fantastic game from Faze, and even though Optic did play well, you know, the way that Faze were managing the spawns, the way that they were preemptively looping around and considering what things needed to be done, they were winning their 1v1s. Let's not deny that mechanics are important, but a lot of that game, we watched them, they were controlling the power-ups. They weren't dying when the power-ups were coming up. They were controlling the spawns around the hill, and they weren't going in the hill unless they had to. Their plan was changing. So this is the first time we've kind of really done anything like this. Obviously, I'm always looking to improve. I feel like with pro games, there's a lot to cover in a very short space of time. And maybe we'll improve the format as we go on, but it'd be really great to know what your thoughts were on this one. Hopefully, there's some things for you to pick up, as always, and with more content coming. Don't forget to check out the Open. I'll be casting for Atlas, as always. You might see me in some other places too, as well. But this has been Vanadam, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. See you later.